The prohibition of cannabis costs $7 billion per year, while taxpayers pay anywhere from $1.6 billion to $6 billion to cover pot enforcement, prosecution, and incarceration. I'm going to talk about the uses, pros, and cons of marijuana. First, I will explain the uses that medical marijuana has. Second, I will go on to talk about the negatives of marijuana use, and finally, I will talk about the positives of marijuana. Starting out with my discussion questions, I had asked my classmates if they knew any benefits to smoking or using marijuana or marijuana-related products. From the 4 responses that I got, everyone agreed that in some sense there are many benefits that marijuana offers. I'd also asked if they felt that marijuana use should be legal everywhere, for anyone to obtain if you are of the legal age. For this question, 3 of the 4 people said that it should be 100% legal everywhere, both recreational and for medical purposes, while the 4th person had said they also thought it should be legal, but only for medical purposes, and it definitely should be researched more before it's just open to the public to obtain. Let's start by talking about the uses that medical marijuana has. Medical marijuana has many uses and benefits. Medical professionals who can prescribe marijuana often recommend it to chemotherapy patients to help with nausea and vomiting. Marijuana has also been known to lessen the effects of epilepsy and make seizures less severe. It also helps reduce symptoms of movement disorders such as Parkinson's disease and Tourette's syndrome. And marijuana is a lot less addictive than some of these pills that are being prescribed, and there's a lot less side effects. The pills that are being prescribed now can cause 20 plus side effects to your body that are not good for you, while marijuana only has a few side effects that are never going to be as severe as some of these pills that people are given or prescribed. And according to alternate.org, 28 states and DC have legalized some form of marijuana. Marijuana has many beneficial uses, but just like most things, there are some negatives to smoking and using it. A negative to recreational marijuana use is that a person could become psychologically dependent on it, according to procon.org. Also, like any smoke that you inhale, marijuana is not good for the lungs and can lead to cancer. And with smoking also comes the risk for secondhand smokers. It poses as a health risk for the people around you. But just like cigarettes, they're not allowed in bars or hotels really anymore. But with smoking marijuana, people believe that it would be allowed in bars or hotels or apartment complexes, and as a result of that, it would pose as a health risk to all the people that would come in contact with that or come around you. And after talking about the negatives, I'm also going to talk about the ways that it can benefit people too. According to drugpolicy.org, legalizing marijuana will not only be beneficial for the medical purposes of it, it will also reduce harm and reduce the amount of criminals that are on the street, or it would lessen the drug cartels or importing marijuana from across seas. And it will create jobs, as it is one of the largest cash crops, such as it would create a job for the farmer who plants it, the people who come and have to harvest it, and who have to make it usable, and then it would create jobs for people to open businesses to sell it, and then it would create jobs for people to come in to the businesses, to work for the businesses, in the shops and stuff, and to know about it and to sell it to the customers. And it would also give law enforcement a chance to use their money on crimes that are violent or crimes that are more serious, such as harder drugs or gang activity, or just to focus on things that are a lot more harmful than smoking marijuana. Plus, state and local governments would benefit from the tax revenue of marijuana sales, since it would be able to be taxed and it wouldn't be an under the rug kind of dealing, how it is now. Illegal drug dealers, the government is seeing none of that money. It's all being just transferred back and forth between people, and it's not being taxed at all. It would also benefit the consumer if it were legal, because they would have knowledge about what they're actually putting into their bodies, versus when they obtain it illegally, it can be laced with anything. I've heard stories of people who have smoked marijuana where it's been laced with cocaine or actually laced with meth. Or even there's a form of like fake marijuana called K2 that people were selling as marijuana, but it makes you really like paranoid, and it makes you think you're going crazy. And my friend actually had used that, and he wound up going to the hospital because of it, because he thought he was dying. Although there are some negative, in conclusion, although there are some negative health effects that come with smoking or using marijuana, it does have many medical uses and benefits. It would also be beneficial for it to be legal to reduce the amount of crime related to this drug, and it would save the police time, and they'd be able to focus on bigger things. And it would also be able to be taxed, so that would help the economy.